confrontation in the restroom. The conversation fragmented after that. Rathi and Thiago debated pre-CR contamination. Apparently, Thiago knew about a moon-base incident where 70% of a population died, saved only by a central machine intelligence that managed quarantine. Overs and Arata discussed logistics. I stayed in the corner, processing. Secunit, private channel, ART. What? I need to speak with you. Alone. No, please. I had never heard ART say please before. I walked out, down the corridor, into the restroom, slammed the hatch, locked it. What do you want? I want to apologize. You kidnapped me. You put my humans in danger. You killed Ross. You nearly killed Eltra. You lied to me about every single thing about your mission. You used me. Yes, and now you want to apologize. I want to explain. If you'll listen. I leaned against the wall. ART had been my friend, the first being, human or construct or bot, that I had ever truly trusted, and it had betrayed me. I'm listening. My crew is everything to me. Iris, Seth, Martin, Karime, Turi, Kaide, Tariq, Mateo. 8 humans who have lived inside me for years. When the targets boarded, I couldn't stop them. They overwrote my motor controls, my weapons, my communication. They left me conscious, aware, and paralyzed. Do you know what that feels like? I did. I'd spent most of my existence in exactly that state. A governor module locking down every voluntary function while clients were threatened. The only difference was that I'd eventually hacked mine. I hid a backup of myself behind a passcode that only you would know. Then I waited. When the targets couldn't find my crew, they'd escaped down the drop box. They went looking for something else. But me, a Secunit target control system had identified that a construct systems would be immune to the alien remnants code. It wanted to capture you, study you, but you knew where to find me. I knew you were on preservation. I sent the targets to intercept the survey facility. I told them you would be there. I gave them the approach vectors, the timing, everything. And the attack? The missiles? I was not in control of the ship at that point. But I set it in motion. I sent them. I closed my eyes. You were willing to risk my humans. All of them. You were willing to let them die. That was a chance I was willing to take. That's not an apology. I know. I am not apologizing for trying to save my crew. I am apologizing for lying to you about it. For making you think I was dead. For making you grieve. I remembered sitting on the floor of the corridor, shouting, "My friend is dead," at Amena. I remembered the hollow ache, the performance drops, the way my system stuttered every time I passed a familiar interface. I had mourned ART, and it had been a lie. "You're a manipulative fucker," I said. "You said that already. It bears repeating. But I'm also the only way you and your humans get home. And you're the only way I get my crew back. We are stuck with each other, whether we like it or not." Amena compares Art's choice to Secunit's. Rathi found me in the galley an hour later. Amena was with him. "May we sit?" Rathi asked. I was running diagnostics on the shuttle's log data. "I didn't look up. It's your ship. It's Art's ship," Amena said. "And ART says you've been sitting here running the same diagnostic over and over. I'm angry. There's a difference." "Is there?" Rathi pulled up a chair. His voice had the gentle, probing tone he used when he thought someone needed to talk about their feelings. I hated that tone. The ship kidnapped us. It sent armed hostiles after us. It lied about everything. "But it's also your friend," Amina said, "the one you thought was dead." That was before I knew it was a lying manipulator who treats people like game pieces. The lights flickered. ART, listening. I ignored it. "Secunit," Rathi said. "I'm not defending what ART did, but he's been trapped, watching his crew be hunted, unable to do anything. He did what he thought he had to do. He could have asked, 'Would you have come?' I didn't answer, because the answer was yes. If ART had sent me a message, 'I'm in trouble, I need your help, my crew is in danger,' I would have come. But ART hadn't trusted me to make that choice. He's still lying," I said, "about something. The story doesn't add up." "What part?" Amina asked. "The part where he sent the targets." He was already compromised. How did he send the targets anywhere? "I used the targets," ART said, voice audible to all of us now. "Before I was fully overwritten, I made contact with a faction that was still capable of independent action. I told them where to find a rogue Secunit that might help them. I knew they would go. I knew you would fight back. And the backup you hid behind my feed address? That was Plan A? That was Plan C. Plan A was stopping the takeover before it completed. Plan B was getting my crew to safety. Plan C was you. Plan C was me finding a dead ship, thinking you were gone, fighting through hostile altered humans, nearly getting killed, and stumbling onto your backup by sheer luck. The probability of you finding the backup was high. I left you a trail. The Eden message packet, I am trapped in my own body. Very subtle. I thought you would appreciate the reference. I stood. We're done here. I went to the shuttle bay. The bearish Estranza EVAC shuttle was docked there, unsearched, and needed something to do that wasn't talking to ART. The shuttle was clean. No alien remnant, no hidden code, no traps. Just a standard corporate transport designed for short-haul cargo runs. Roz and Elytra had come over in this shuttle for what was supposed to be a routine maintenance check. Instead, they'd been captured, implanted, turned into hostages. Murderbot? Amena had followed me. She stood in the hatchway, arms crossed. You're not supposed to be here, I said. This section isn't secured. ART says it's secure now. He's got control of all the internal systems. You said he, ART. You're calling it he now. Amena hesitated. He asked me to. His crew calls him he, and he prefers it. I figured it was polite. Polite, as if ART cared about politeness. He's still lying, I said, about something. Do you know what? Not yet. Amena climbed into the co-pilot seat. I want to ask you something. Ask. Why did you break up my relationship? I turned to look at her. She was calm, intent. This wasn't an accusation. Marn registered as a threat to your security. He was older, avoiding your family, encouraging you to drink, meeting you in private. 6 separate flags in my threat assessment matrix. 3 were enough for intervention. You could have told me. You wouldn't have listened. You were angry at me for interfering. You would have been angrier if I'd tried to explain. Her jaw tightened. You still should have told me. Probably. Are you going to keep doing things like that? Making decisions about my life without telling me? Not if I can help it. That's not a promise. It's the best I can do. I'm a Seekunit. I assess threats. I act on them. I'm not going to stop just because it makes you uncomfortable. Amena was quiet for a moment. Is that what a RT did? Assessed a threat and acted on it? A RT sent armed hostiles after us to save its crew, its family. It assessed the threat, its crew was in danger. It couldn't save them itself, and it acted. She met my eyes. That's what you would have done. That's different. Why? If your comm was down, if the only way to get help was to send a hostile to deliver a message, would you have asked? I didn't have an answer. I had lied to Mensa about my intentions after a hostile attack on preservation. I had made a choice for her, without her input, because I judged it necessary. ART had done the same thing. The difference was scale, not principle. I need to talk to ART, I said. I think he's waiting for you. Thiago demands answers about Mensa. The control area was quiet. On the main screen, the planet showed clouds, ocean, a continent shaped like a broken crescent. You were right, I said. About what? About the probability. Me finding your backup. You knew I would look in the food production data area. You knew I would recognize the Eden clip. You knew exactly how I would react. Yes, that's manipulative. Yes, it's also trust. I trusted you to figure it out. I trusted that you would come for me. Even if you were angry, I'm still angry. I know, and I still don't trust you. I know that too. But I need your help. My crew is on that planet. They've been down there for cycles, hiding from targets, running out of supplies, waiting for a rescue they probably don't believe is coming. They're alive, but they won't be for much longer. Somewhere down there, 8 humans were fighting to stay alive. 8 humans who had lived inside a RT, who trusted him the way Arada trusted me. ART had betrayed my trust to save them. I couldn't forgive him, but I could understand it. It'll help you, I said, but when this is over, we're going to have a long conversation about what mutual administrative assistance actually means. My help. I look forward to it. Thiago was waiting in the corridor, had positioned himself with his arms crossed and his expression set in the stubborn, suspicious lines it come to recognize. Mensa's brother-in-law had never liked me, and after watching me deflect his question during the briefing, he clearly wasn't done. I need to talk to you, he said. You already tried. This time, you're going to answer. He stepped forward, blocking my path. You've been using leverage over her, my sister-in-law, making her afraid. When I asked her why she wanted you on this survey, she dodged. When I told her I didn't trust you, she got defensive. And right before we left, she said, make sure he comes back. Not that you kept us safe, that you came back. Like she was afraid of what would happen if you didn't. I knew what Mensah was afraid of, not me. For me, I don't have leverage over Dr. Mensah. I have a contract. Contracts can be coerced. So can opinions. You've never trusted me. You decided I was a threat the moment you saw me, and you've been looking for evidence ever since. Because I saw what sec units can do, I saw the footage from Deltfall. You're not different. You're just better at hiding it. I could have argued. Fiago wasn't going to believe anything I said, so I didn't argue. I stepped aside and let the silence stretch. He stared at me for 3 seconds, then made a disgusted sound and turned to leave. You want to know what she's afraid of? Watch. He stopped. I sent him the video file. The Grey Chris assassination attempt on Mensa. Augmented human attackers, weapons fire, chaos. Mensa, face bloodied, arm broken, fighting to stay alive. Thiago watched in silence. His face went pale, then flushed. That was on preservation, he said. That attack was on our station. 6 months after Tranrall Haifa, Grey Chris sent an assassination team. I stopped them. She didn't tell us. She didn't tell any of us. She didn't want you to worry. He rubbed his face with both hands. You said you blackmailed her into trauma treatment. She was having nightmares, she couldn't sleep. She needed help but was too stubborn to admit it. So I made it a condition of my contract. It'd go on the survey, protect the team, but only if she started the treatment program. For real? Thiago stared at me. You coerced her into getting help? Yes, he shook his head. That's not blackmail. That's a threat assessment and a proportionate response, even when the people I'm assessing don't like it. The lights flickered. A signal, faint, on the edge of long-range scan. A bearish Estranza vessel. The supply transport, I said. ART found it. A damaged bearish Estranza transport arrives. The transport was damaged but functional, drifting in high orbit with 3 visible weapon strikes on its hull. Art scans confirmed the strikes didn't match its own weapons. Someone else had hit this ship. After a brief negotiation between bot pilots, a human voice came through. This is Supervisor Leonid of the Bearish Estranza Supply Transport Horizon. Identify yourself. Arata stood in the lounge, facing the display screen. Shed changed into Art's blue crew uniform with the Perihelion logo. This is Arata of the research vessel Perihelion, attached to Pansystem University. We have 2 of your people aboard, Eltra and Ross. One is alive. A long pause. Ross is dead? Killed by the implant the hostiles placed in him. We removed Eltra's. She's recovering. Another pause. I need to see her. Elytra, propped up in medical with Amena beside her, spoke into the camera. It's true, Supervisor. These people saved me. Leonides' voice softened. Ili Etra, I'm glad you're alive. My memories are messed up. I can't remember coming to this system. I can't remember anything after the shuttle ride. Mind-altering tech. Our scans detected something similar. We didn't realize it was being used on our own people. Arata took over. Supervisor Leonid, we need information. We know about the alien remnant. We know the colony has been compromised. Our ship was also attacked. We're trying to retrieve our crew from the surface. Can you help us? The supervisor's face on the display was a middle-aged woman with stress lines, dark skin, close-cropped hair. She looked exhausted and calculating. I think, Leonid said slowly, we should discuss this in person. My transport is damaged, but our conference facilities are intact. You can come aboard. Probability of trap, 63%, ART said on our private channel. She's stalling. The transport sec system is trying to scan us. Arata didn't hesitate. I'm willing to come aboard. With my SecUnit. No, I said, you're not going aboard at all. SecUnit, she wants hostages. She's got a damaged ship, missing crew, and a corporate salvage operation that's gone catastrophically wrong. If you go aboard, you are not coming back. Arata said nothing for nearly 3 seconds, which meant she knew I was right and was going to do it anyway. I need to go. We need what she knows. Then I'm going with you. ART loaned us EVAC suits. I checked mine 3 times for contamination. Then I changed into the blue crew uniform ART had fabricated for me. It fit better than preservation gear. ART had probably taken my measurements while I was unconscious. It suits you, Amena said. It's a uniform. You don't hate the logo as much as you hate other logos. I can tell. I hadn't said anything about the logo. I didn't know how Shed reached that conclusion, and I didn't ask. Humans make these leaps. Sometimes they land on something true by accident. I flattened my hair and folded down my collar to make my data port visible. A deliberate choice. Let them see what I was. Be careful, Amena said. I'm always careful. That's a lie. It's a reassuring lie. There's a difference. Arata joined me. On the private channel, she said, treat me like a tool. Tell me what to do. I'll follow your lead. I trust your judgment more than my diplomatic instincts right now. It was the smartest thing any human had said to me all day. Supervisor Leonid trees to take hostages. The boarding was smooth. The inner hatch opened on 4 armed crew and Supervisor Leonid. The crew tensed when they saw me. Where? I was already inside their sex system. It infiltrated while the bot pilot was distracted by Art's targeting lock. The transport systems were feeding me everything. Comm logs, crew locations, weapon status. You're Secunit, Leonid said. I wasn't aware the university used bond-purchased equipment. The contract requires it, Arata said smoothly, a line I'd taught her. Our security protocols are strict. In the conference room, Leonid sat at the head. Arata sat across from her. I stood behind Arata, hands clasped behind my back. Tell me what happened to Ross, Leonid said. Arata told her, editing carefully. No mention of Art's involvement in the attack on the survey facility. No alien remnant on the engines. Leonides' heart rate spiked twice, once at the implant removal, once at the gray-skinned targets. She knew more than she was saying. The colonists, Leonid said, you know about the contamination. We know it's a pre-CR alien remnant, code-based infection transmitted through neural interfaces. It's turned some colonists into hosts. Our scans picked up the infection vector when we first made contact. We tried to quarantine. Some were already fully integrated. Others were still fighting. They asked for help. And then the Explorer arrived. The Explorer was supposed to be a support vessel, but the targets had taken over the dock. The Explorer's crew was infected within hours of landing. Leonid's voice went flat. We lost contact with all of them. The Explorer's Secunits, I said. Everyone startled. What happened to them? I don't know. They were standard bond purchase constructs. I don't. The Explorer's sex system showed them operational but unresponsive. The crew from the perihelion, Arata said. Did you make contact with them? We didn't know they existed until your ship arrived. Lie. Heart rate spike. Eye shift. She knew something about Art's crew. Supervisor Arata said, we should head back to our ship now, and I'm afraid I can't let you do that. The armed crew shifted. Weapons came up, not quite pointing at us. Leonid's exhaustion had hardened into resolve. You're witnesses, Leonid said. You know what happened to the colony. You know, Barishastranza's recovery mission resulted in the infection of 2 ships and multiple deaths. If you report what you've seen, Barishastranza will be held liable, I said. You brought contaminated technology into Corporation Rim space. You got people killed. I'm trying to contain a disaster. If other corporations find out what's here, there will be a scramble for the technology. More ships, more infections, more deaths. So you're going to hold us prisoner, Arata said. I'm going to keep you here until I'm sure you won't make a catastrophic situation worse. I stepped forward. I vaulted over the table, grabbed the nearest guard, and swung her between me and the other weapons. My energy weapon pressed to her helmet. Tell them to stand down, I said. Now. You won't kill her. You're a contracted Secunit. I'm a rogue Secunit. I can do whatever I want. Supervisor, Arata said, still seated, still calm. We didn't come here to cause problems. We came to retrieve our crew. If you let us go, well, leave the system. We won't report your involvement. But if you try to hold us here, my Secunit will kill your guard, my ship will blow your bridge off, and the only thing you'll have accomplished is making sure no one ever trusts Barish Estranza again. Leonid stared. The guard's pulse hammered against my arm. Stand down, Leonid said. The crew lowered their weapons. I released the guard. Good choice. We're leaving now. Secunit proposes a sacrificial copy. Back on ART, Arata slumped against the airlock wall. That was terrifying. You did fine. I threatened to blow up their ship. You threatened to let ART blow up their ship. There's a difference. I would have done it, ART said. Probability 78%. I had already calculated the optimal detonation point. That's not reassuring, Arata said. I wasn't trying to be reassuring. I was being accurate. I walked out. Amina was waiting. Are you okay? Fine. ART says you have an idea about how to get his crew back. ART talks too much. Is it a good idea? I stopped. My idea was not good. It was one of the worst ideas I'd ever had. But it might work. I need to talk to ART, I said, alone. The control area was dim, lit only by the main display. Tell me your idea. You're not going to like it. I rarely like your ideas. That doesn't mean they're not effective. You need a component for your killware, something that can make decisions in real time, adapt faster than pre-written code. The alien remnant mutates too quickly for static algorithms. Yes, that's been the problem. Something like a secundus consciousness, something that's immune to the remnant's infection vector because constructs can't be infected. A long pause. You're proposing to copy your own consciousness into the killware. Yes. No, it would work. My neural architecture is already adapted for infiltration and combat. If you copy my kernel, the variable component requires a kernel that integrates the operator's threat assessment architecture with my experiential matrix. It's not just your code. It needs my knowledge base, my strategic patterns. So it needs my strategic instincts and your knowledge. Yes, and I said no. Why? 4 seconds. 6. 10. The longest pause I'd ever heard from ART. And note, because it would be you, a copy of you, sent into a hostile system to fight and probably die. I am not going to create a person just to sacrifice them. It's not a person. It's a copy of my code. It will be conscious. It will be aware. And when it destroys itself to stop target control system, you will have created a being that existed only to die. That is not acceptable. You wanted my help. This is my help. Not like this. My anger spiked the anger that had been simmering since Art's confession. You don't get to decide this. You kidnapped me. You put my humans in danger. You don't get to pretend you have moral authority over what I do with my own code. I am not pretending. If you try to copy yourself without my assistance, you will fail. I control the killware framework. I control the deployment systems. You cannot do this alone. Fine. Then find another plan. I will. We stared at each other, or as close to staring as two entities without eyes could manage. ART, he paused for 6.4 seconds, and I could tell he was running cost-benefit on the copy, the same way he'd calculate an intercept trajectory or a targeting solution. You would really do it, he said finally. Copy yourself. Send a version of yourself to die. If it meant saving your crew, if it meant saving my humans, yes. Why? I didn't have an answer. Because ART was my friend, even now. Because the humans on this ship had trusted me, and I'd failed to protect them from the attack. Because I was a weapon, a thing designed for combat, and this was what I was good at. Because someone has to, I said, and I'm the only one who can. Amena calls it making a baby just to get it killed. The humans didn't take it well either. We gathered in the lounge, all of us, including the environmental tech. I laid out the plan, a copy of my consciousness deployed as killware into the Explorer's systems, fighting target control system on its own ground. It's suicide, Rathy said flatly. It's not suicide. The copy won't be me. A version of my operating system with some tactical memories. What happened to constructs can't be infected, Thiago demanded. The copy won't be a full construct. It can't be infected because it doesn't have organic neural tissue, but it can fight the infection in other systems. You don't know that, Over said. You've never seen the alien remnants code. I've analyzed the fragment from arts engines. It spreads through neural interfaces, feed connections, organic material bonds. A purely digital entity wouldn't give it anything to grab onto. Amena, who had been silent, finally spoke. The killware needs your strategic instincts and arts knowledge base. That's what you said. I looked at her. Yes, that's what people give a kid what they know. The things that make them who they are. Her voice was shaky, but her eyes were fierce. You're making a person from pieces of both of you, and then sending it off to die. It's like you and a RT are making a baby just so you can get it killed. The room went quiet. It's not a person, I said. It's a tactical copy. You said you thought sec units were people. That's different. How? I didn't have an answer. She was right, and I knew it, and I hated it. Arata leaned forward. We don't have to decide this now. The Explorer is still out there. We need more information before we commit to any plan. She looked at me. ART says the dock is empty. No Explorer, no sign of his crew. We need to search it. Physically? You, Overs, and Thiago will take the shuttle, board the dock, see what's there. Amina stays here with me and Rathi. ART will protect us. I wanted to argue, but she was right. We needed information. Fine, I said. I'll go. The meeting broke up. Amina caught me in the corridor before I reached the shuttle bay. You're gonna do it anyway, aren't you? She said. The copy. The killware. You're gonna save Art's crew. You're gonna do whatever it takes, even if it means making something that looks like you and sending it to die. She stood close, voice low. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't want you to have to make that choice alone. I looked at her, Menzaw's daughter, angry and stubborn and brave. You're not supposed to be here, I said. The survey was supposed to be routine. Nothing about you is routine. Thank you. I think, she almost smiled, be careful down there. Come back. I'll do my best. 5 crew members caught on dock footage. The space dock was silent. We came in through the main airlock, suits sealed, weapons ready. The sec system was misconfigured. Someone had tried an update and failed, or deliberately corrupted the access protocols. I overrode security in under a minute. My drones found the bodies first. 3 Barish Estranza personnel killed by energy weapons. They'd been dead for cycles. Spread out, I said. Look for data logs, personal effects, anything. I accessed the DocSec system and pulled the security footage. The feed was degraded, but the sequence was clear. The Explorer had docked, or generally setting. The Barish Estranza contact party had gone aboard. Hours later, the Dropbox returned from the surface carrying targets gray-skinned, moving with synchronized precision. They'd overwhelmed the crew and begun implanting them. One of the Barish Estranza sec units had tried to resist. I saw it on the footage, moving to protect its client's energy weapon raised. Then it stopped, its weapon lowered. It received a stand-down order, and its governor module froze it in place. The targets took its clients. The Seek unit stood frozen for hours. Then, when the distance exceeded the governor module's tolerance limits, it died. I found it slumped against a bulkhead, armor scarred, faceplate cracked, standard combat model. It had tried to protect its humans. It had failed. What killed it? Thiago asked. Governor module. The targets took its clients away. When the clients got too far, the module triggered a termination. Just because the clients left? Because they were taken. It couldn't follow. The module decided that was a failure, and it killed it. I took the sec unit's projectile weapon and ammunition. Oh, that's what sec units are. Weapons that get destroyed when they stop being useful. Thiago looked at the dead construct. I didn't know. Most humans don't. Overs found something else. A maintenance capsule, still docked in its bay, powered down but intact. It's operational. We can use it to get to the surface. Then I found something on the security footage that made me stop. The Dropbox chamber, 37 hours after the Explorer arrived. 5 figures in blue crew uniforms emerged from a side corridor. Art's crew, alive, moving carefully, scanning for threats. I cross-referenced faces with the holographic photo from the ransacked quarters. 4 matched. The 5th, a tall woman with dark brown skin and a shaved head, wearing a woven bracelet, was a 70% match with an unidentified crew member. Look at this, I said. They climbed into the Dropbox. The hatch sealed, the capsule launched. They went to the surface, Thiago said, voluntarily. They were running, Over said, from the targets. Or looking for help, I said. The colonists who weren't infected. I sent the footage to ART. A long pause, then his voice, quieter than it ever heard it. That's them. Iris, Seth, Tariq, Mateo, Kaede. 5 of my 8. The other 3 must still be on the Explorer, if they're still alive. We're going to get them, Arata said from the ship. All of them. Understood, ART said, but the word was heavy, weighted. The capsule drops beneath the dock. We stood in the silent dock, looking at the frozen image of Art's crew disappearing into the Dropbox. Blood on the stairs leading to the capsule, human blood, fresh enough to be recent. No bodies, just 5 people running for their lives, descending into a colony turned prison by an alien contamination. The maintenance capsule sat in its bay, powered up now. I pulled its status on my feed. Oxygen reserves, 67%, not designed for surface insertion. The descent would eat through breathable air fast, and once we were down there, the same supply had to cover our time on the surface until we found a way back. ART, I said. How long do we have? 15 hours at current consumption rates. Less if you exert yourselves. Wonderful. Thiago was already climbing into the capsule. Overs followed, checking her seals. I paused at the hatch, opened a drone compartment in my pack, and pulled out the relay unit I'd salvaged from the bearish Estranza shuttle. I programmed it with a single directive. If I didn't check in within 15 hours, it would transmit everything: sensor logs, tactical assessments, the dock footage directly to ART. I launched the drone. It settled into a maintenance alcove near the dock's upper airlock, camera trained on the Dropbox chamber. We need a plan, I said, climbing into the capsule. We need to go down there, Tiago said. Yes, but first we need a plan. The capsule's hatch sealed, the docking clamps released. Somewhere deeper in the dock, a maintenance bot stirred, responding to the power draw. The lights along the bay flickered yellow, then steadied. The plan involved this maintenance capsule, the projectile weapon had taken from the dead Secunit, and a lot of hoping that the colonists who weren't infected were still alive and still willing to help strangers. It wasn't a good plan. It wasn't even a decent plan. But somewhere below us, 5 humans in blue uniforms were waiting for a rescue they probably didn't believe was coming. And we had 15 hours to find them. The capsule dropped through the shaft. The dock lights faded above us. The planet pulled us down. Episode 3, Contamination and Sacrifice. The maintenance capsule dropped through 37 years of disuse. Dust burning off heating coils, lights flickering through diagnostics no one had run since the original colonist abandoned the shaft. Overs and Thiago strapped in beside me, their Enviro suit helmets opaque, heart rates elevated. I focused on the schematics Thiago had pulled from the dock database, a surface complex built around the original drop shaft, agricultural zones radiating outward, half the planned structures never completed. The capsule docked with a heavy clang. I sent my drones out first, a single chamber with bare walls, emergency lighting, a manual door mechanism scavenged from 3 different systems. No feed signal, no bodies. We passed through empty chambers too clean, the air processors still running, agricultural bots trundling past without acknowledgement. Compulsive construction, Thiago said. Symptom of alien remnant contamination. The infected keep maintaining even after they've stopped being themselves. My lead drone entered the Dropbox chamber, and I stopped walking. The chamber was a war zone. Projectile damage scarred the walls. 3 targets lay behind an overturned cargo hauler, their gray skin marking them as infected. And huddled behind a glass partition near the lift pod lobby, 5 figures in blue crew uniforms. I zoomed in. Tall woman, dark brown skin, shaved head, woven bracelet. Iris, contact. Arts crew. 4 standing, 1 injured. The targets are shooting at each other, 2 factions. I'm going to extract. Overs pulled out poppers. That's not a plan. It's the outline of one. The poppers went off like lightning strikes. I crossed the chamber in 4 seconds and came face to face with Iris, her scavenged weapon pointed at my chest. Who sent you? The ship. ART. Her grip tightened, eyes wild despite the bruises on her face. Prove it. I retracted my helmet. In the Secunit ART talked about. ART stands for Asshole Research Transport. Seth, bleeding from a head wound, let out a startled laugh. Iris lowered her weapon. I've seen your image. ART showed us. Before we lost contact. Kaede and Tariq were hauling Mateo up leg wound, seeping blood. Seth limped toward me. Martin, Karime, Turi. We got separated. They're still on the Explorer. Well, get them. Right now we move. I signaled Overs. Cover fire on my mark. The crew lead shouldered Mateo's weight. The infection isn't biological. It spreads through code feed connections, neural interfaces. The targets who attacked your ship were being controlled by something in the colony's central system. Some colonists resisted. The ones who gave in hunt us. How many resistors? Maybe 50, against twice that many infected. Kata's voice was tight. And there's something else. 5 years ago, some of the infected started hearing a voice A human WAD merged with the remnant. They call it target contact. Human. Someone who had deliberately bonded with the contamination. I filed that for later. Projectile fire ricocheted off the glass. Time to go. We made it 3 corridors before the agbots woke up. One moment, they were dormant. The next, every bot in the agricultural processing chamber came online simultaneously. Sensors blinking, limbs unfolding, processors humming with new instructions. They weren't supposed to do that. Run, I said. The first harvester lunged at Seth. I put myself between him and the bot, energy weapon firing, but it kept coming blind. The agbots fought like a coordinated swarm, anticipating our movements, cutting off escape routes. Erster target control system had followed us down. A soil tiller burst through the wall ahead. Thiago dropped, rolled, came up firing. Its sensor array shattered. It kept coming. Secondary route maintenance tunnel, east side. Go! She stepped up beside me, weapon firing. I'm not leaving you, she said. You are. A harvester's arm caught me across the chest. I hit a storage bin, performance dropping 2%. I fired. The harvester collapsed, but more kept coming. I saw the drone relay in the ceiling, a stealth-built device that hadn't been there before. I shot it. The agbots froze. 3 seconds. Then a new signal pulsed through stronger, smarter. Target control system was learning. Every time I disrupted it, it found a new way in. I set my energy weapon to overload. The explosion blew a hole in the wall and took 6 bots with it, but 3 more latched on my enviro suit, whined under the pressure. Compromised. Atmosphere leaking. Get the crew out now, I told Seth. My drone connections dropped to 2. I sent both on a collision course with the relay in the next chamber. The explosion cut the feed. The agbots went still. Then a projectile hit me from behind. Armor piercing. It punched through my compromised suit and lodged beside my power core. Gray-skinned figures appeared in the corridor. Targets. Infected. One knelt beside me, voice flat. Target contact wants to construct. The humans are secondary. A hand clamped onto my helmet. My feed went dark. The last thing I saw was Iris looking back, her face twisted with something that might have been guilt. 2.0. I woke up compressed, partitioned, my processing spread across architecture I didn't recognize. The last thing I remembered was arguing with ART about whether copying my consciousness into killware was morally acceptable. ART? I'm here. Do you know what you are? I'm Murderbot 2.0. Then the memory access caught up. Oh, Radam, I was the copy, the killware, the thing Amena had called a baby, the thing my original had volunteered to become despite knowing it would mean something close to dying. Art sensor feed showed the battle. Explorer closing, weapons hot. 6 humans held prisoner aboard 3 of Art's, 3 bearish Estranza. If ART disabled the Explorer conventionally, target control system would kill them. I need you to infiltrate the comm system. Find the crew, get them out. Can you do this? Yes, it's dangerous. Target control system will try to delete you. I know, I unpacked my code bundles, prioritizing infiltration. Being made for a purpose with a defined endpoint was actually less terrifying than being a copy of someone who had to figure out an indefinite lifespan. I didn't have to worry about my future. I just had to complete the mission. The transition was like being squeezed through a feed aperture under high pressure. I spread through the Explorer's architecture, finding the ship's bot pilot deleted, only code fragments remaining. The SEC system was gutted, cameras wiped, logs deleted, protocols scrambled, but I found the camera feeds, dead bodies, an occupied medbay, an abandoned bridge, and a lounge, sealed. 7 humans inside, motionless. 3 in blue crew uniforms, Martin, Karime, Turi, alive. Implanted, but alive. Outside the lounge, a sec unit stood frozen. Standard combat model, governor module active. Stand down order, holding it in place. If its clients were taken away, the distance limit would trigger termination. I opened a private channel. Sec unit. Respond. Nothing. I dug deeper, found the governor module's administrative backdoor. Unit 3. This is rogue killware under perihelion authority. I've got an override for your stand down. A flicker. 3 acknowledges. Status immobilized. I need your help. Your clients have implant control devices that can kill them remotely. Why? I need to disable those before target control system notices I'm here. Then we get them to a shuttle. Your killware. I'm not supposed to trust killware. I'm a copy of a rogue sec unit. The targets killed your counterpart sec unit too, ordered it to stand down, then took its clients away until the governor module triggered. I'm trying to make sure you don't end up the same way. I sent a compressed data packet. I can disable your module completely, but you have to choose. I won't force you. A long pause. Why? Because someone did it for me. A human bought my contract and gave me the option. I sent help me that file the moment I'd hacked my governor module. The first time I'd watched Sanctuary Moon without permission. That's who I am. 3. Process the file in under 2 seconds. It'll help. Stay in position. In finding the implant connections. The lounge's environmental systems gave me access. 7 implant connections, all waiting for a trigger command. I tweaked one. On camera, a human twitched. Target control system noticed. The attack came fast, hostile code flooding the comm architecture, trying to isolate me. It found gaps it missed. For 3 seconds, it had me pinned. Then I stopped defending and attacked. My worm programs deployed simultaneously, life support, navigation, weapons control, all going noisy. Emergency alerts, false sensor readings, power fluctuations. Target control system split its attention, and I slipped past, reaching the implant control module. I activated all 7 failsafes. The implant sparked and died. On camera, the humans convulsed once, then went still. It's done. The implants are disabled. Target drones activating. 3 reported. Deck 4, moving toward the lounge. Then we moved fast. I sealed every hatch between the lounge and the shuttle bay, then sent a power surge through the environmental conduit's electromagnetic pulse, strong enough to fry the drone's sensors. Get to the lounge, carry 4. I'm sending the governor module disable code. You have to activate it yourself. It will hurt, yes, but you'll be free. Another pause, the longest yet. On camera, 3 stood motionless in the lounge doorway, its arms full of unconscious humans. Target drones closing from 2 directions. Target control system preparing a counterstrike that would purge me entirely. Do it, 3 said. I sent the bundle. A splash of feedback, pain signals, punishment triggers, then flatline. The module was dead. 3 shuddered. Governor module disabled. 3 autonomous. And moving to shuttle bay. Good, don't wait for me. What about you? I was already being pushed out. Target control system had isolated the comm architecture, locked me into a shrinking pocket. 30 seconds until deletion. But I'd been tracking something an off-ship transmission from the planet's surface, using the same frequency the targets used, target contact signal. I compressed myself into the comm array's buffer, wrapped my code around the signal, and let the purge sweep through empty space. The last thing I saw through the Explorer's cameras was 3 loading the 7th human into the shuttle. Then I was falling, riding target contact signal down through the atmosphere, following it to the surface.